I had the privilege of speaking with you just a few days after the shooting last month, and you said the two major questions are what went wrong to let this happen, and how do we ensure this never happens again? Do you think you're any closer now to finding an answer to either of those questions?
I think we've made some strides moving forward. I think we need to make sure we conduct a full and thorough investigation, though. I don't think we have to have a rush to judgment before we reach final conclusions and recommendations. The only thing I would set off separately from that, though, is the Secret Service review to make sure that it's making immediate changes in the protection that it provides so that we don't have breakdowns going forward. We've got the former president and the current vice president out doing rallies every day on the campaign trail. Their candidates on their slates, their vice presidential candidates, need protection as well. And for spectators at these events, we want to make sure that their lives are protected too. We lost a spectator on July 13th, and two others were injured in the shooting that took place on that day. We got to make sure that they're protected at these rallies as well, because democracy is at stake, and we have to make sure that people who want to go out and have a chance to hear from the candidates can do that without putting their lives at risk.
To that point, do you think that presidential candidates and rally goers are safe on the campaign trail because we're less than 3 months away from a presidential election?
Well, obviously, I think there was some degree of overconfidence that led up to July 13th. We've got to make sure that whatever that was gets stamped out immediately and corrected. And I think that we've already seen some things that should be changed already. Just a quick example: Unified Command on July 13th, there were two command posts. And so instead of having a single one, you had two. And what that meant was that because not everybody was on the same radio frequency, Secret Service might have been on a different one than some of the state and local police departments. And some of those departments weren't necessarily on the same frequency either. So when somebody spotted the future shooter, the guy who was going to end up firing the shots at former President Trump, it took a moment to relay that and then get it connected to the Secret Service. And then the shots that were fired, there was a sighting immediately before the shots were fired. Might have been not enough time to do anything with that, but maybe there would have been if you'd had unified command. And the second aspect of that is, even if you can't preempt the shooter in advance, if you get the information to the people who were handling the former president and took him out on stage, can you say, why don't you guys wait a minute? Or, we've got an issue, get him off the stage immediately. That's the kind of real-time communication we want to make sure can take place in events going forward.